Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Ryan Buck, and in this tutorial we will be covering uh, the Design Staff Hour Estimation Form Sheet 6B Drainage Plans. As you can see, this is the latest version from the release of September 2023. At the top, it looks very similar. You can enter your names. There's a space for your signature and date. And over to the right is a how to use this form. Here's a link to a whole library of all the staff hour estimation form video tutorials, including this one. And there's some instructions on how to use this, which I will be covering in this video, as well as my contact information is down at the bottom right. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, find any mistakes, and I'll be glad to help you. As you can see, 6B had a couple updates. A couple of the tasks were removed, so I'll go over that really quickly. But we'll start with 6B1. So as you can see, the intent of these forms is to enter in some project parameters, being either units about your specific project and or a complexity. The gray ones, there's no complexity involved. I'll get to that. And then it'll calculate automatically a suggested hours based on established guidelines. And then that is a suggested starting point for your project, and then you'll have to analyze that based on the established guidelines to see if it applies to your project, or if you need to increase hours because the effort will be higher for that project, or lower the hours if the effort is not as much as it's suggesting for your specific project. So let's go line item by line item and enter in some values, and I'll show you how it works. So we'll start with the drainage map in 6B1, including interchanges. And it's based on length and miles. Right here is the description. So if you click on the cell, a pop-up will come and say length of the drainage map in miles. Let's just say we have a 2-mile drainage map. Then there's a red shaded box that has a drop down, and this will be the estimated complexity of this drainage map. So for example, it says in the drop down, a simple complexity would be a rural project, low number of structures with lots of available data. And a complex would be multi-lane urban with many structures, not much existing data available. And then standard would be somewhere in between those two scenarios. So let's just say we do have a standard drainage map. All right, and it suggests 48 hours, and we need to determine, the department can enter in what they think the hours it can be. They could say it's 48, or they could say it needs to be more like 60. Maybe the consultant agrees, and then you've got your final negotiated hours right here column. And then you've got any documentation that you need over here in these columns as well. All right, so 6B2 is the bridge hydraulics recommendation sheet. This is based on number of bridges. So if I highlight this, the number of bridges, multiple matching parallel bridges count as one bridge. Let's just say we have one bridge in this. There's no complexity, it's grayed out, so it's going to suggest 32 hours for that bridge for this task. And again, we'll have to determine, it'll give us that as the initial estimate, and this is straight out of the guidelines. So if you need more information, you can always pull up the staff hour estimation guidelines spreadsheet, which is also located on the Scope and Staff Hours website along with this form. 6B3 is the drainage structures sheets. So in this case, we're looking for the estimated number of drainage structures, this includes the drainage plan view, drainage profiles, drainage tabular information, and the optional materials tabulation. So we're just going to look for the number of drainage structures. Let's just say we have 60. It's going to recommend a 72 hours for 60 drainage structures. Again, if you have 100, you'd enter 100, and then you can negotiate from the 72. This one, we're looking for the number of drainage special details, and this includes the notes. let's just say we need 10 details, and it'll recommend 30 hours for 10 details. 6B4 is lateral ditches. So in this case, we're looking for the estimated number of either standard ditches right here or complex ditches right here. So a standard ditch is ditches that require plan and profile to be shown in the plans. A complex ditch would be a horizontal, vertical, complex geometry that requires plan and profile to be shown on plans. So let's just say we have 2 standard ditches and 1 complex, right, in this project. And as you can see, it recommends those hours. And then we've got our cross-section alignments. So estimated or ditch alignments that require cross-sections. Let's just say that we only need it for the complex ditch in this example. And so I'd put 1 for the complex ditch. 6B5, retention, detention, floodplain, compensation ponds. And this is the number of, same thing, standard ponds or number of complex ponds, right? Let's just say we have 2 standard ponds and 1 complex pond. And then we also have the cross-section. We're just going to do cross-section for the complex pond in this example. All right, so that's how it's going to tabulate your rough estimate based on the parameters you told me, and these are based on established guidelines. Again, you'll have to go through and negotiate from here, agree, disagree, increase, decrease the hours as necessary for your specific project, and negotiate from there. Going down into the non-technical subtotal, QA, QC, and supervision, this is at a 1 or a 0, 1 being yes, you need QC, 0 being no. It's going to be left default as 1, so if you want to turn it off, you can change it to 0, but most of the time you'll leave that at 1. As you can see, it's negotiate at 5% of the technical subtotal, so it's going to calculate 5% of the technical subtotal right here across the board. If you wanted to use something else other than 5%, you could say 3 or 7 or 2, and you could you have to manually calculate that based on this, and you can enter it in this red font negotiated tab right here. So it'll automatically calculate, but you can override it if you would like to change it. Then it'll sum up at the bottom, and this will carry over to your 6B on the summary sheet. Again, thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions or find any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is right here. I appreciate it, and thanks a lot.